In this episode, disaster awaits. Oh, no. Oh, shucks. I screwed up. Shit! This is a disaster. I think I got overconfident. I've got to get all those tiles off. But first, we're starting with the solar boiler. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Portugal and to a new episode. Not sure what's going on with the weather here in Portugal, because last week it was like high summer and now we're back to somewhere early spring. It's cold, rainy, but it's not gonna stop us continuing with our sanitary building. Let's get into it. So last week we had somewhat of a chaotic episode with a lot of things going on and a lot of things unfinished. So let's try to finish the unfinished business. Starting with our solar boiler. We've got all the parts, so there's no excuse anymore. Let's get this thing running. So even though this system looks quite overwhelming, it's fairly easy. There's a water inlet, a water outlet, and there's a point somewhere at the top for a pressure relief valve for both pressure and temperature. So when water heats up, it expands a bit, and water is not really good compressed. The pressure rises very quickly, so you have to have a relief for the pressure. And also temperature. If the temperature rises too high, you don't want stuff boiling in this tank, so then it can release a little bit of water, so cold water flows in again. Really easy, huh? This is the pressure and temperature relief valve, and this is a one-way pressure relief valve. So the water can flow one way, which is from cold into the tank. And as well here, if the pressure gets too high, it has some kind of relief. So let's start with the cold water. Always make sure that the water is flowing in the correct direction, so it's flowing that way. So this is pretty idiot proof, I think. It not only has a blue color thing, which is cold water, it also has a sticker which says cold water. So I think we're kind of good with putting the cold water here, right? Now we're off to the piping. For the cold water, I have an uninsulated pipe, and for the warm water, I have an insulated pipe. With the connection system that I'm using, there's always a rubber little ring inside of it to get an extra closure. But what I see is that rubber ring gets damaged pretty easy. So what I usually do is I use one of the connections to prepare the tubing the first time. So I'll just push it in, get it out, and then install it in the correct location. So I just have one that will be misused, abused for this and can get damaged, and then I don't get so many damages on the connections themselves. There we go, our first connection. Now we're off to the hot water side. Same idiot-proof system. Red color and hot water outlet. Couldn't really go wrong, right? There we have the hot water. Easy as that. Hot and cold are installed. I've guided them into the technical area. Still has some work to be done to make it nice and tidy. But I'll do that later on. Started to rain, so I didn't film any of that. Now we have to install the PT valve with the tube. And then we're done on top of the roof. I think it's rally day today. Every time I try to talk, there's motocrossers coming by. But what I wanted to say, for every reason you think, wow, this guy really knows his stuff. Well, to be honest, I don't. This is the first time I'm installing this, but no, I'm not a professional. So there's the PT valve and the drainage pipe going downwards and then opening up on top of the roof. And then let the excess water just run off the roof. Now if you've seen one connection being put together, you might as well have seen every connection being put together. So let's fast forward. The water has been installed partly up to a point where we cannot really continue right now. So it's time to get back onto the roof with the vacuum tubes. So here we have our vacuum tubes. Not exactly sure how it works, but at least I know we've got to put those tubes into these holes, and those tubes get hot from the sun and direct the heat to the water that's on the other side of inside of this thing. If it works, it works. So from here you can kind of see what's going on. Here we have the glass tubing. There's like a foil in there. And then we have some kind of metal. And then we have this copper tube inside of that again. So that the heat will come into there, then slowly into the tube, and then this part of the tube will be in the water, and that will heat the water. That's the theory. That was easy. So I've just put the rubber inside of some water with detergent. Put it back in the hole. So then it glides in easily. I grab a tube. Push it in. Meanwhile, Sylvia looks at the bottom, clicks it in. I drop it onto the base, and we're off to the next one. Now we just have to repeat that 20 or so more times, and then we're done. Oh, what do you know? There we have our solar boiler ready for usage. Now all we still have to do is make the water connections and stuff before we can test it out. That's something for the next episode. Now let's continue with tiling. So we've got a few jobs that we need to do. And it's not really much to talk about, but those are jobs that don't take too much time, but it's just taking long time in days because every small process needs to dry a bit. So yesterday I've done the joints of the tiles. So that's looking pretty nicely. And now I have to install the shower base. So when tiling, I left a piece open where the drainage of the shower base will be. So that's where we need to drill a hole now, where the sewage can go. And the sewage then I can access from that side, where the technical area is. So now I can always access it from here. So in case of leakages, I'm here. So that was probably pretty strange, but you get the idea how I'm talking about accessibility of all the parts. A few dots of sealant. Is that enough? Does it hold? Not really. I need more sealant. More sealant. And what do you do? More sealant. That should do it. That's our shower base. Now we just have to let it dry before we can continue again. Next day already. It's cold. At least it's dry. Alright, we gotta get going again. Alright, so I'm in the toilet again. I've primered everything. I've made a hole for the outlet of the toilet itself. Now it's time to start tiling. Now the width of the toilet is about 1 meter and my tiles are 40 centimeters wide. Now I don't want to start on one side and have a spare cut on the other side. I want it to be nice and even. So I want a tile in the middle and then a tile on either side of about 30 centimeters. That gives me a challenge with the first middle tile because it's right at the hole. So the first tile I need to cut is probably the most difficult tile I'm going to cut with this whole project. I'm not really sure how to do this. Let's just give it a go. I've put the tile exactly in the center of the wall. And now from the other side, I can mark the hole. And now I'll do the same for the other side. On the front it didn't really work. So I'm putting some masking tape on. Try again. That's better. Well, there you have it. A hole in the tile. Pretty good. Now it's Sunday and I've got in 2 hours of work, and the boss is gonna call me any time now because we've got some other stuff to do. Maybe I'll give you a sneak peek of that as well. And then I guess we'll continue in the morning.
Eles cordinhas, estavam separadas. Eles cordinhas, à beira do mar, já não corres não. Eles cordinhas no meu coração. Ai, o mar alto, ai, o mar alto, sem bem fundo. Ai, mais vale andar no mar alto. Aqui andar nas bocas do mundo.
Lekker eten! Dat is goed voor de... Well, that was fun. It's early morning, nice and misty, cold, 4 or 5 degrees Celsius. Let's get to tiling. I've got some glue, got some tools. Let's get started. Well, 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 we've got ourselves our first wall. That's going pretty nicely. Now I'm going to do this wall. I'm going to try this all at once. So first the glue and then tile it. Now this is not a how to do it kind of video. It's more a how I did it kind of video. Because it's the first time I'm tiling. And I know for sure that there are many people who think, well, he's not doing it the correct way. For instance, I should start with the second row. I know, I've seen that. But I'm starting with the first row, and so far it's working out for me. I probably shouldn't have jinxed it because I'm starting with the first row, and of course this time it's not really going as I wanted it to. So I had to do something with my screw ups. Well, I'm pretty stoked on how this looks right now. Still need to do the edges. For here, for example, we need to put a tile. And what's pretty cool is I used hole tiles on the whole wall over here. And there's like this little gap still there. And that fits a tile perfectly with a bit of glue. And it's like perfect. So no wastage. Pretty awesome, huh? Now over here we're just going to tile the area where the shower will be. The base is 80 by 80. The tiles are 40 wide. So that should be kind of an okay match. I've got tiles, I've got glue, I've got water, I've got my tools, I've got some cardboard. I think I'm ready to go. Let's go. Wow, hey, look at that. It's really taking shape. One wall to go, and then we're finished. I think I didn't add enough water to the glue. It was a bit dry still, didn't really get onto the wall as well as easy as I wanted it to. It's on the wall, and we're just going to have a go at it. It was interesting to see how little screw-ups in consistency can have a different effect. It's all about learning. The previous batch was a little bit too wettish, I think, and this one is a bit too dryish, but we're still continuing. It is what it is. Ten pieces to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The last one for now. There we are. Now I need to clean up. This has to dry for at least 24 hours, and then we're back. It's the next morning. It's time to do the final job with the tiles. It's time for grouting, or grout the tiles. How do you say that? Not really sure. Fill in the joints? Well, you get the idea, right? Let's go. I'll remove the crosses first and see if I need to do a bit of cleanup. And then see if we can fill these joints. Oh, this isn't really interesting to watch, is it? Me pulling out the crosses. So let's fast forward. I've cleaned the tiles. I've sponged the tiles. So everything's really clean. I've mixed the grout. I've waited 5 minutes. I've remixed the grout. And now it's time to get grouting. Still sounds a bit weird to me. Grouting it is. Well, that turned into a big mess. I've got some clean water. I've got a sponge. Please let me be able to clean this mess up. It's getting along nicely. I did a lot of washing. Now I'm just going to let it dry because I feel like there's not more coming off, because every time I wipe something away it refills with sludge from the joints themselves. So I'll just let this dry for a bit. And meantime, continue with the other side. Oh, no. Oh, sharts. I screwed up. No. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh, man. Shut! This is a disaster. I think I got overconfident. I told you yesterday about my glue being a bit too dry. Well, I think it definitely was. I've got to get all those tiles off. Shoot. As you can see, there's no glue whatsoever on the tiles themselves. And here it's still fixed, but it's pretty sandy. It didn't dry properly. So I was just pulling these out in between, and the first one I pulled out, the tile came off. Look how easy it goes. Just like that. It's just a little bit of glue. And other than that, nothing. So the bottom two lines of this side and all of the panels on this side are made with one batch of glue that I made. And that was more fluid, less dry. So I'm hoping that that tile won't come off that easy. This one came off easy as well. Oh, this comes off as well. That's not good. Oh, maybe it was just the lowest row, because this one's fixed properly. All right. Oh, well, at least I don't have to redo everything. So I guess lesson learned. Take things seriously. If your glue is too soft too wet, add more glue to get a good consistency. If your glue's too dry, add some water and not just start like I did. Well, steep learning curve. Aye. That freaking hurts. Imagine getting that on your head while showering, huh? Okay, so I need to really look at the positive sides on this happening now. At least there's no one in the shower showering, and I didn't grout anything or started any other finishes. So if it happens, you know, a screw up like this, then today's probably the best day. Look at the bright side, huh? Damn, that really hurt. No time for whining. Let's get on. So these last 3 panels are really glued on thoroughly. I cannot get them off like this. So I really know those are good, and then those over there are good as well. Just have to fix this board. Even more tiles coming off. You're kidding me. The rest I've tested as well, and those are holding on. But the top ones here came off as well. I've removed the adhesive. I've vacuumed everything, cleaned everything with the sponge. I've cleaned the tiles. And I'm going to just let this dry for a day to be absolutely sure that everything is dry, and then go over it with the primer and stuff tomorrow. I put my camera away because I was kind of done with filming today. You know, things like this, mistakes like this, stupid things, it's hard to not let you get down a bit because of it. So I need to get back up on the horse and continue, of course. So I thought I'll do something different in the same area to get me going. I thought I'd just make the openings for the shower knobs and the tiles. And that went pretty good. I've got a hole here. I've got a hole here. But there's something just not right with me sitting here with the tiles over here. Maybe you already feel like what's coming up. I'm going to show you. When I started drilling the holes, those tiles were there. Now they're on the ground. That's not good, is it? I'm gonna get everything off. Start anew. Time to fix my mistake. Let's get at it. What did I do wrong the first time around with this area? Well, I can think of a few things that went wrong. There's probably more, but at least I came up with a few. 1, the adhesive was too dry. 2, I didn't press the tiles in firmly enough. And 3, I didn't let it cure long enough. Because when I was cleaning the first batch of tiles that came off yesterday, I could easily remove the adhesive. And then with the second batch, I forgot. And I had to do that on the tiles today, and that was a lot more difficult. I hope I can tackle those things today, and then I'm sure the tiles will stay on the wall. All right, I'm all set. I've got my glue, I've got my tiles, I've got my tools, I've got some water and a sponge. Let's tackle this beast and continue with this project. I think I'm ready for the first tile. I'm going to put this tile on, press it firmly, and then try to remove it again to see how much adhesive is actually making contact. Well, that's the amount of pressure I think is okay. Well, that's a lot more than there was before, but still I don't think it's enough. So what I'm gonna do is apply the adhesive again on the wall and then apply a bit of adhesive on the tile as well. Try again. I'm not able to get that off anymore, so I think I'm good with this one. Let's just do the rest like this as well. Yes, we've got them in. Took quite some time, a lot more than the last time. I really tried to do it properly this time, and I think I managed. So this needs to dry, then I can fill the joints, apply some silicone, and finalize this project, this shower. If you want to see how this turns out, consider subscribing. The channel's still quite small, so every subscription counts in the total. Well, see you in the next episode. Ciao!